Well, we're going to continue to hold false prophet Troy Black's feet to the fire. Take a look at this clip as he tries to explain, because he's been doing it on every video now, spending 1 to 3 minutes explaining why, he's a prophet and why you shouldn't question him, basically. Take a look.
And a prophetic word I got back on January 25th, and it has to do with the vax and, everything that went down starting in 2020. I get it. I share a lot of prophecy on YouTube, online. And for some people, it's a hard pill to swallow. The idea that God would speak to someone so often, or that he would speak to someone about seemingly, important events, national events, news, that kind of stuff. And here would be my response is don't limit what God is willing and able to do for his people, number one. But number two, you don't have to automatically just trust every quote unquote prophetic word that someone shares. If someone says, hey, God told me this, that should raise some potential red flags. Now, that shouldn't push us over into skepticism where we're always saying, well, that's probably not God. Instead, I believe it should push us back into prayer where we take things to the Lord and we say, Lord, is this from you? And I want to know, I want to know who I can listen to, who I can't, but also I want to be led by you, Holy Spirit, in everything I do, whether it's a word from God or whether it's just a word of encouragement. A lot of times what's more dangerous than a quote unquote word from God is a word of encouragement that's pushing you in the wrong direction. The devil doesn't have to mimic God's voice in order to throw you off track. He just has to get you to believe something that's not coming from God. You know what's more dangerous than potentially hearing a false prophecy? What's more dangerous is never hearing God's voice for ourselves. Ooh, man, somebody needed to hear that today. Okay, so I'm going to jump.
And as you can see there, he's talking about, basically, you wonder how he's able to get this news daily from all of this different, events, and God speaks to him. That's because people are onto him and he's on the run. But you know what? On this channel, we keep the pressure up. And before I go any further, I got the notes. I wrote down some notes. I thought about this last night because this video, when it's released, is probably going to be released. He's releasing soon here Eastern time in about 26 minutes here when I'm looking at my clock of a video of Princess Kate. It's always something. It's really disgusting is what it is. But he jumps on this, always something in the media, always something trying to spiritualize it. And I have some questions for him. So this is what I have on my notes. It's this video. We're going to be quick. But I want you, if you watch the man, or for those of you that don't know about the man has prophecies for everything, all the way down to some banjo player that supposedly he had, I don't know, there was supposed to have been some type of spiritual message out of a banjo player that he claims he didn't know about. But then when, like I told you, you research, you scour the internet, there was some guy that really people haven't heard about. But yet he sits there, he gets ahead of these prophets, so-called, his prophecies is what he calls it, gets ahead of it, something that he's found in the news, and hopes that it lands, and then he'll make a video as if he's a true prophet and things. But I have some questions for him. So let's look at the questions for this guy. I have on here, why do you always have a word of current events in the news cycle of some sort? Why do you always have a word for that? Now that's one question. Here's the other part, question number 2. Why do you have the questions for news events and people, stars, any types of other things, other false prophets? He'll say, I have a word for Amanda Grace. I have a word for Marcus Rogers. I have a word for these other people and all of these things. And I have on here, listen closely, why you never have or shared a word about your family member, a friend. What about the clerk at the grocery store? What about your neighbor? You've never had a word. You never made a video sharing a word about them. If you're hearing from God every day, the way you claim, as you said, I had this vision, or the Holy Spirit came to me when I was in worship. It always, for him, it's always in worship. He gets these words, and then somehow it happens to be something that's on TV, in the media, or in the news. And how come it's never anything with your family? He's got kids. He's got a wife. I'm sure he's got other family members. He's got neighbors. He's got other people. There's people that's lost everywhere. There's all types of things going on around us. Why did it always have to be on this other level? And I have on here, why? Because it won't get any views. Oh, it won't get any views. That's the bottom line. If he was to make a video, I've got a word, for my neighbor. God gave me a word about my neighbor. God gave me a word about this clerk when I went to the grocery store. God, he started just making it regular people, regular things. He wouldn't get as near as many views. But if it's something that's hot in the Google cycle, that some of these people know the trends that are going on, then you make a video on it and it catches fire, then you get the views. More views equal more money. Because you know what? He doesn't work. For those of you that don't know, the guy doesn't work at all. No job at all. He doesn't work. And the man looks healthy and young enough to have his butt out there doing something. And besides sitting in a dark room, scouring the news daily to lie on the Lord. And that's what he's doing. I have one here. What would he be doing if there was no social media age? What would somebody like Troy Black, and there's so many others that have these full-time false ministry channels, what would he be doing? I have on here, would he be on a street corner giving out daily prophecies? A lot of us, there's always, you've seen some people that's not all there growing up there, and they're still out there, and they may be in an area doing certain things, and there was people. We used to be a guy when I grew up there. His name was Waving Willie. He always waved at you. He waved. I'd be in the bus, and I'm a teenager, and he see everybody. He's waving. He's walking down the street, and but Waving Willie was not mentally there, unfortunately. But everyone knew him. He was part of the community. Is that what Troy Black would be? Is that what he would do? Set up shop on a corner with a tin can, out there and give it daily prophecies and have a group of people standing around as some type of fortune teller? I mean, what would he do without the social media age? The man doesn't work or whatever, so would he go as far to get on a street corner? I mean, that's a question to ask them. Would he start a church? That's another question I have on here. Would he start a church that gives daily prophecies? Just so. That would be? Because I have on here a real Bible believing church with the pastor that is being led by God and the Holy Spirit would not entertain Troy Black and any of these other charlatans that you see on the internet that claim that they're hearing from the Lord daily, claiming that they're riding around in heaven daily, claiming that they're going back and forth between heaven and hell regularly, and all of that. A real church would not entertain that. So there would be no place. What would Troy do? So in this media age, he's taking advantage of it. The guy doesn't work, and he figured, you know what? This is working. I think I'm hearing from God and all of that. When it's really, he might be like Waving Willie, not all there and stuff. And a lot of them, they're not all there. And I don't care if he tries to say, I'm leading people because I'm giving them Bible verses and I'm giving them a word and all of that stuff. That doesn't mean nothing. I don't care how many words you toss out, scriptures you toss out there and try to make it so you can validate yourself as a great prophet of God. You don't get to pull, trying to pull a fast one. That's what you're trying to do. Only somebody naive will fall for that. Set up and say, well, yeah, he's giving me all of these words about all of these current events, and it never seems to come to pass. Oh, he's always vague. Oh, he's kind of seems shisty or slick. And then he says, well, take it to the Lord, pray about it. This word may not be for you. this, that, or that, and it sounds all good. And people, as he say, most people are, as one of an old pastor friend of mine say, most people are lazy when it comes to the scriptures. Most people are lazy and will not study and try to put a foundation underneath themselves so that when somebody like Troy will come along, that they would say, this guy, get out of here. This guy's a clown, is what he would be. No real, like I say, Bible-believing, Holy Spirit-filled church will entertain somebody like that. Could you imagine coming to church on a weekly when you come to Bible study or go to your service, and then Troy Black stands up there, hey, I've got a word about a banjo player. I don't know what it's going to mean. I don't know what's that. And then take something like he's probably taken with this, because I haven't watched this Princess Kate video yet. But he's going to take it and try to spiritualize it and make it for you in some kind of way. When this woman is going through some health crisis and that's basically stating that, we wish her family the best and well, and we're going to continue to keep her in our prayers and not try to make a video to lie in the name of the Lord and set up there and do this kind of stuff that he continues to do. We call him out on this channel. I don't care if you don't like it, if you're part of his fan club, so what? I don't care. Because you know what? There's people that don't know that need to know. And we're going to expose it. It doesn't sound popular. It doesn't sound, and for some, oh, you're jealous. Man, I'm jealous of a false teacher. You know what? If that's what you think, I know where, these types of people like Troy and those that continue to follow him, we know what that's going to happen if they continue to walk down this path. But you know what? As I mentioned, the Lord's hand is not upon these types of ministries. This is nothing but the devil in disguise. And Troy is nothing but another waving Willie, is what he is. The man needs help. He needs some type of help for whatever is going on for him, with him, because he's not hearing from God like he claims. He's hearing from familiar spirits, and as we talked about in another video, and from himself. What he, and some of it is just flat out lies on top of it. Because that's what a lot of these people do. They're just lying. And they're lying in the name of the Lord, and we'll continue to call it out. Evangelism for God is the channel. Maurice Braxton is my name, where we take the devil head on and punch his butt right in between the chops. So, until the next video, hang in there. We'll continue to stand up against these frauds, and God bless. Take care.